All right, let's talk about AI, because it's doing so much more than just making us faster. It's actually rewriting the rules of what it means to be valuable in business. This is a huge shift in what it takes to win. So let's dive right in.
Okay, first things first, we have to get our heads around a new, number one threat in the age of AI, and it's not about falling behind on technology, not at all. It's about the risk of just blending in.
And this right here is the heart of the matter. For years, for decades, speed was everything, right? It was the ultimate advantage. But AI has completely flipped the script. Now being fast is just the price of admission. The real danger, the thing you have to worry about, is becoming invisible in a sea of sameness.
I mean, just think about it for a second. AI can write your emails, it can build you a website, it can even code whole applications. Tasks that used to take a team weeks to finish can now be sparked up in minutes with a prompt. The baseline for what everyone can do has just skyrocketed, and that makes speed a commodity.
And you know what? It's the exact same story with information. Market research, legal drafts, digging into what your competitors are doing. That stuff used to take a ton of resources. Now, one person with a clever prompt can pull together and make sense of huge amounts of data almost instantly.
So what happens when everybody has access to the same incredible, powerful tools? Well, your output starts to look and sound a lot like everyone else's. Your marketing, your design, your strategy, it all runs the risk of becoming generic. And when you're generic, you're average. And in this new world, being average means you're basically invisible.
Okay, so while AI's abilities are just exploding, it's just as important, maybe even more important, to understand where its limits are. And this brings us to what we call the automation ceiling.
And this slide, it just lays out the divide perfectly. On one side, yeah, AI is an absolute master of mechanical tasks, optimizing things, spotting patterns, scaling up output. But on the other side, it hits a hard brick wall. It can't read human emotion, it can't build psychological safety on a team, and it sure can't make a tough ethical call. It can't lead people through a crisis.
And what this really means is that in a world that is just flooded with automated content, the ability to build genuine human trust, well, that becomes the ultimate superpower. Automation is great at scaling output, but it's humanity that scales connection.
You know, for so many years, we've dismissed these as soft skills, but that phrase is dangerously out of date now. Skills like good judgment, emotional intelligence, storytelling, these are the new core infrastructure for your business. They are the absolute foundation for any organization that wants to be successful and resilient.
But here's the crazy part. Even though most leaders would agree with what I just said, there is a huge disconnect in where companies are actually putting their time and their money, and it reveals this massive and frankly pretty dangerous imbalance.
This quote just nails the problem perfectly. Everybody is in this mad dash to adopt the latest AI platforms, thinking the technology itself is the magic wand. But the real bottleneck, the actual skill gap, isn't about using the tools. It's about the human systems that have to use them wisely.
And you can see it laid out so clearly here. We see massive, and I mean massive, investment in AI tools and data platforms. But then you look at the other side. There's barely anything going into leadership maturity, psychological safety, and building trust. We're essentially buying Ferraris, but forgetting to teach anyone how to drive.
And what does that get you? It's a recipe for total disaster. It's how a company can use technology to scale at lightning speed, but then break even faster. Because the culture, the leadership, the human trust systems, they just can't handle the weight.
So let's make this really concrete. How does this whole shift actually play out for people on the ground? You know, for consultants, for small business owners, for leaders.
If you're a consultant, the game has been completely turned on its head. AI can instantly spit out the research, the frameworks, the market analysis. Your clients don't need you to just tell them what to do anymore. They need a partner who can help them transform their human systems to actually get it done.
This means the role of a consultant is changing from being an advisor to being a translator. They have to translate new tech into something people will actually adopt. They have to translate an abstract strategy into real, everyday team behaviors. And they have to translate raw data into a shared sense of meaning. This is where human wisdom is absolutely irreplaceable.
And for all you small business owners out there, this is a real double-edged sword. AI gives you access to these incredible marketing and design tools that used to be only for the big guys. But because everyone has them now, the businesses that are going to win are the ones that compete on something AI can't just generate on command: authentic leadership, emotional connection, and real earned trustworthiness.
This whole paradigm shift also requires a completely new kind of leadership. We're talking about someone who is deeply integrated across different kinds of intelligence, way beyond just the technical stuff.
And this has to start with how we're preparing the next generation. Our education systems can't just be about memorizing facts that an AI can find in a nanosecond. We need to be teaching students how to think critically, how to collaborate with others, and how to build trust. We have to prepare them for leadership, not just for employment.
And listen, this isn't some fluffy, feel-good idea. This is a hard-nosed business reality. Investors are increasingly looking beyond just the cool product. They're sizing up the founder's maturity, the resilience of the company culture, and the level of trust on the leadership team. Why? Because capital follows confidence, and real confidence is built on solid human systems.
So the future really belongs to leaders who can integrate 3 core intelligences. The first one is artistic intelligence. This is about vision, creativity, and the power of telling a story that inspires people and actually drives innovation.
The second is psychological intelligence. This is all about having a deep understanding of human behavior, of mindset, of emotional intelligence, and the actual mechanics of what it takes to build and maintain trust within a team.
And finally, there's cultural intelligence. This is the ability to understand identity, to leverage diversity as a real advantage, and to navigate the incredibly complex human systems of our globalized world. When you combine all 3 of these, you get a leader who can use technology wisely.
So we'll end with this one question for you to think about. In a world where all the powerful tools are common, is your humanity? Because as technology becomes something anybody can get, the only true sustainable advantage you have left is your unique, irreplaceable human insight.